It's Ron Reader digs the universe. I'm Ron Reader, and this is Ron Reader Digs the Universe, and tonight, conservatives and identity politics. One thing we all know about conservatives is that they hate liberals. Liberals. They say woke a lot now too. Woke. This electric stove is too woke for me. Godless Marxist woke liberals. They say it as if liberals, you know, the left or really for the right, a liberal is pretty much just anybody who doesn't describe himself as a conservative. As if liberals are a massive monolithic horde of faceless, latte-drinking black lesbians. But the left isn't monolithic at all. The non-conservative coalition of Americans, making up about 2/3 of the electorate, is composed of numerous groups which have varying and only sometimes overlapping interest. There is no such thing as a liberal in the way that conservatives use the term. Liberals are, in fact, a bunch of wildly different people. And you'd think that conservatives, when they talk about the liberals, you know, that they would understand this fractured nature of the left, what with their continual, decades-long bitching about identity politics. According to Wikipedia, identity politics, a phrase first used in the 1970s, seeks to reclaim greater self-determination and political freedom for marginalized peoples through understanding particular paradigms and lifestyle factors and challenging externally imposed characterizations and limitations instead of organizing solely around status quo belief systems or traditional party affiliations. Dense stuff. So, for our purposes, let's just say that identity politics are about marginalized groups, oppressed groups, consciously and visibly advocating for themselves against the oppressive patriarchal white power structure. Conservatives hate that shit. They totally hate identity politics because it runs utterly counter to their identity politics, which are essentially about oppressing everybody who isn't them. That's the really hilarious irony here. Conservatives utterly embrace identity politics, which they claim to hate, and they do so with the monolithic cultural unity they mentally project onto their political opponents. As MSNBC's Mehdi Hasan likes to say of conservatives, every accusation is a confession. Or, as I like to say of conservatives, they these days lack the ability to appreciate or even comprehend irony. At any rate, they're asshole hypocrites on this. Conservatives aggressively practice identity politics, and for them it's all out war. We see evidence of this all over the place. Florida, Texas, other southern and red states are all now held captive by conservative identity politics with racial vote suppression, don't say gay laws, persecution of trans people, erasure of history, and on, just everywhere, all at once, conservative chaos inflicted on the land. It's all totally irrational and horrifying, of course, but if you look at the shared narratives and concepts of the conservative identity, it all makes sense. They're all justifications for oppression. They embrace white resentment and the Confederate lost cause myth. They prefer up by the bootstraps anecdotes over hard economic data. They think they're smarter and better than you. They think we bailed out Russia in World War II. They think we're the greatest country in the world, but that they're the only real Americans. They see billionaires as superior beings. The Jesus they worship wields a sword and slaughters millions. They're the real victims of racism. They're the good guys. The conservative identity's entire world view gives them permission to dominate us all. And while this white war cult conquers seemingly at will, their political representatives in Washington and the state capitals auction off the nation to the super wealthy who don't give a shit one way or the other about anybody's identity. I'm Ron Reeder, and this has been Ron Reeder Digs the Universe. Join me, Ron Reeder, again next week for another episode of Ron Reeder Digs the Universe.